Everyone, welcome to our lovely creator community. Today we have a really fun workshop. But first, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Karina Schultz, creator manager for the home and design vertical for this wonderful community and here at Pinterest. Please note, we are recording today's workshop. First, I want to thank you for joining us as we build this community with you. As we share in previous workshops and meetups, the goal of the Pinterest creator community is to help empower you with the tools and resources you need to level up your skills and scale your brand partnerships on Pinterest. So today, like I said, we have an exciting workshop. We're joined by our wonderful colleagues. They will share insights about how our teams think about creators and brand partnerships, from branded content best practices to how you can set up yourself for success and getting noticed by our Pinterest brand partners. So I'll pass the mic to them to introduce themselves.
Awesome. I will take it away. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome. First, I want to say we're so excited to be here, and we're going to share a ton of information about branded content, working with brands, how creators can get involved, really good and exciting stuff. And just want to let everybody know that this is all really new work to us, and it's evolving and growing every day. So we're so grateful that you're here to provide us with any feedback, any questions. Definitely save some questions for the end, as we will certainly have some time for Q&A. But with that, I will go into the introductions myself first. If you want to go to the next slide. I am Tracy Johnson. I use she, her, and hers pronouns, and I am on the creator partnerships team here at Pinterest. So I know that you're all used to these workshops having some external speakers. Today, you're reading from those of us in-house, and I'm joined by some of my amazing colleagues who I will pass it over to introduce themselves.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I am Carly. I use she, her, hers as pronouns as well. I'm a creative program manager at Pinterest, and I have been lucky enough to be working with Tracy and all of our wonderful creator managers the last 9 months, really enjoying it and super excited to be chatting with you all today.
Awesome. Hi, all. I'm Ellen Corsaro. My pronouns are she and her. I am a creative strategy lead here at Pinterest based in Los Angeles, and I am so excited for everyone to be here with us today. So let's dive in, why don't we? You may be asking yourself, what are we going to be getting into today? Well, it's a lot, actually. So first, we'll talk about how Pinterest is different when it comes to content. Then what exactly is branded content on Pinterest? We may not know, you may not know, but we're here to tell you. Then we'll walk you through where content shows up on Pinterest, kind of the nuts and bolts, the nitty gritty of how people see and are served content. And what makes branded or good branded content, and what does it look like, and what makes that great, right? And then we'll talk through how creators like yourselves get matched with brands at Pinterest. And then finally, as Tracy said, we'll have an opportunity for you to submit your profile for branded opportunities, but also an open Q&A, so everybody has the opportunity to answer or ask questions, and we can answer them for you. Okay, so next slide. Let's first dive in with how is Pinterest content different? If you head right on to the next slide, let's really start ourselves by grounding us in the content landscape. So we all know that each platform out in the media landscape has a different purpose, right? And that's totally fine. That's amazing, because we go to all these different platforms for a different reason. We know also that you're creating content for those places, for many different places. And one moment of content can and does have its own unique purpose across each platform. So in this example here, we'll unpack how one moment of food content could come to life on many different platforms. Okay, so here we go. On Twitter, content, right, is timely. So what is happening in the moment? So strawberries are in season. It's time to go get some. We're moving right along here. On Instagram, you could say it's more editorial focused, right? So that's curating something pretty and in the moment of your life. Like, check this out. This is beautiful. It's what I'm doing. It's who I am. So check out these juicy strawberries that I picked with my family. Next, on TikTok, we really think of it as entertainment, right? So for this example, are there bugs in my strawberries? Let's get some fun little hook to get people looking and watching my content, but it's still based around this strawberry scenario here. And then lastly here on Pinterest, it's actionable, right? It's inspirational and actionable. So in this example, you see how to make strawberry shortcake. So in an idea pin, viewers can see what they need, how to make it, the strawberry shortcake in this example, and what it should look like along the way, giving me all of those details and allowing them, the consumer, right, the pinner, to create this same recipe on their own. So this next slide, we know that this actionable content isn't one size fits all. One great idea on Pinterest can look and feel different from the next great idea. It is not the same and it's not universal. But to help wrap your heads around the types of content that is possible on Pinterest, here are some of the top performing content structures, as we like to call it, for idea pins to kind of get you thinking and to make it actionable for you to go out and create. So first here, it is all about showing a process of how to do something, right? So literal step-by-step instructions, like the steps to this workout routine, or how do I become a great calligrapher? Second here, it's personal content. So think about it like this. Here, this is about showing who you are to inspire other people. In this example, this shows a creator telling her audience the story of her engagement. So again, it's an idea for others to draw inspiration from. This is one that is very personal. And then lastly here, it's about sharing your perspective or your knowledge on something. So there's plenty of ways to make an egg, right? Everybody knows this. I could do scrambled, I could do sunny side up, but this creator shows his way of making a crispy egg. And that is new and novel and fun for a viewer to follow along and learn something from. On to the next slide and over to Tracy.
Thank you. I always feel like we're passing like a news reporter. Over to you. But yes, so I will take it away from here. So you might be wondering, how does this actionable content translate into branded content? And that's what we're going to get into next. So if you go to the next slide, we have those content formats that Ellen had talked about: process, personal, and perspective. But here in this example, I'm going to talk through how branded content can fit into those buckets as well. So the first one we have here is Dominique Panton. You may know her or have seen her on Pinterest. She's an professional athlete, and she's showing again a process of a workout. And she actually partnered with Gatorade to put together this workout and really teach pinners how to do this on their own, make it really actionable for them, but also still showing that process. The next one, we have the same creator that we talked about in personal. Her name is Caroline Benzana, and she is a fashion creator. We actually paired her up with Pandora Jewelry to create a Mother's Day idea pin. And so she got really personal with this one, knowing that that kind of content does perform well for her on her Pinterest. And she showcased a bunch of pictures of her mom and her and how her mom's such an inspiration for her. And then as the idea pin goes on, she actually unboxes some of the gifts that she's going to give her mom from Pandora for Mother's Day. So that was a really nice way of being personal, but still incorporating the brand into the content as well and making it feel really unique to her and really authentic, while also being actionable. You can think, oh, I should get my mom this for Mother's Day. And then the last one we have here is a lifestyle creator. Her name is Shruti. She partnered with Urban Decay to create this really, really fun color pop look. And the perspective here is unique to her because it's not that she's a makeup artist and she knows the only way to apply this kind of makeup. She's really showing her perspective and how she puts together the look and has this like fun take on a summer look. So just being able to teach your audience how to do something, but knowing that you don't always have to be, classically trained or an expert. It can just be your perspective, and then asking your audience, how would you use this eye color? What kind of take would you have? So these are some good examples of how these same formats could show up in a branded content way. And if you want to go to the next page, so little star power moment for Shaquita. You're an example on this next page. I wasn't sure if you'd be here, but how fun. We also wanted to share some examples of how people on Pinterest, creators on Pinterest, are partnering with brands on their own outside of working through us, which is totally possible. You can see that creators are all already doing this. We have a couple of great examples here. So Shakrita test driving this new car. We also saw that this creator, Oh Joy, did a bird's eye partnership where she shared some recipe ideas and inspiration with her audience. And then we have Bright Bazaar. He's a lifestyle creator and he showed some tips and tricks to making 2021 go better than 2020 with State Farm life insurance. And then Chef Adriana Urbina, she partnered with Remy Martin to make a pairing. So she did like a cocktail and then a dish. So you see here, you can partner with brands without us as well. We encourage you to, reach out to the brands that you love and see what you I think that this is a really fun way to kind of like test and learn what working in the branded space is like. And all these examples are really great ones for you to reference. So with that, I will pass it over to Ellen.
Back to me. Thanks, Tracy. That's our news reporter style. So moving right along and thinking about striking your own deals like Tracy was just talking about with brand partners, it's important to have a strong understanding of the different formats in which our content can show up on Pinterest. So on to this next slide, I will give you all a quick look at our different product offerings. And this slide includes both paid and organic surfaces, okay? So first up, we have standard. This is both an organic and ad product. This is the OG format, right? This beautiful static standard pin. Next, we have standard video, which is both an ad and organic format as well. This is our vertical video solution that shows up in one of the two columns on your feed. So for organic content, we actually recommend this video content to be between 15 seconds and 1 minute. And then for ads, we recommend anywhere between 6 and 15 seconds. The third one here is Max Width Video. This is an ad product only for now, but this allows for brands, even creators who want to put money behind their posts, to span the entirety, the video to span the entirety of your feed utilizing one-by-one video assets. Next up, we have Carousel. This is both an ad and organic format. And this allows you to showcase up to 5 different static images in one post. I think everybody should be pretty familiar with what a carousel is, not only because of Pinterest, but because of other platforms as well. Next, we have what we call a collection. This is an ad in organic format, allowing for up to 25 unique URLs to be featured in subsequent thumbnails under a hero image. So you'd click on one hero image in the feed, you scroll down, and you have the ability to showcase 25 different products that have unique URLs for a consumer to click out and buy directly or to explore that product more engagingly elsewhere. And then lastly, an idea pin. I hope everybody is well aware of what this is. It's our newest and most innovative surface yet, with up to 20 pages of creative storytelling canvas at your fingertips. So all of these formats serve a specific purpose, but idea pins are the most creative and best format for being able to tell a story. They're currently only available to creators and brands, so that puts even more of an emphasis on the power of this surface. Okay. Next slide. Thank you. Okay, so now that you know all about our content formats, let's talk about where you can actually find this content on Pinterest. So they can be found through the newest surface on the left here, which is called Idea Streams. And then you can obviously see it, just like everybody knows Pinterest and loves Pinterest, on your home feed. You come to the platform, you come on your app, and you're scrolling for ideas right then and there. There's your home feed. That's where any of this content can show up. And like-mindedly, on the search feed, you come into Pinterest, you search for dinner ideas, and then search will surface me delicious Mexican lasagna idea pin. And then, of course, on a brand or creator's profile under created. So this is kind of the root of where all of your content can show up, but it's also good to note that idea pins can also show up in related pins. So that is after you close up on a pin and scroll down to see more ideas like that one, as well as you all also have the ability and possibility to be featured on the Today tab. If you have really great, compelling content, we have an in-house editorial team that surfaces and aggregates editorial content that is idea pins. And for the really great ones, you have the opportunity to be featured on that tab. So just making sure everybody knows about that. And if you haven't explored the Today tab, I highly suggest you do so. And that is it for me.
Awesome. Over to me now. We go to the next slide, please. Hi, everybody. Me again. Full disclosure, my internet is being a little bit testy, so hopefully I don't get choppy here. But in this section, we're going to be taking a deeper look into what makes strong branded content on Pinterest. So first and foremost, if you're here, you probably already know how to make great content. You've been learning best practices in this community and have probably been creating some organic idea pins for the last few weeks. Some of you may even be working with brands on other platforms or have worked with brands before, which is great. But in this section, we want to take you through some ways to be successful in making branded content on Pinterest specifically. So before we move on, we also just want to reiterate that you all have such specific styles and personalities and tones, and that's exactly why brands want to work with this community. You have a point of view. You're at that intersection of expertise and influence. And throwing a brand into the mix is an art. And so we just kind of want to dissect that for you a little bit based on our experience thus far. So we go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So first you'll see that many of these best practices are the same as best practices for organic content, which is entirely by design. The best branded content should look and feel like your regular content. So if you take anything away from this section, it is that. Be yourself, keep doing what you're doing. But hitting on some of the main pillars here, we want to really make sure that you provide key details, right? So this is like you already do with organic, but you want to make sure you're using all the tools. Use copy, VO, really explain in a natural way what you're doing and how you're doing it. So just as Ellen explained that there's difference in the way that content shows up across platforms, content on Pinterest is meant to be very actionable. So give pinners everything they need to do or make or create that thing offline. And then make it authentic to you. Again, no brainer. This you know how to do. You're all brilliant creators. So this is how you became you. Keep doing that. Make it visually immersive. So really keep pinners engaged. Use all the tools in the toolkit and really use those to your advantage and make the pin as immersive as possible. Tell a story. This is another one that you know how to do. So make sure you show a beginning, middle, and end. We like to talk about it as tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them. So have a nice story arc there. And then show off the product. So obviously this is a key pillar for branded content, and it's especially easy if you love the product. So we like to make sure that that product is integrated in a very natural way, whether visually or through you voicing it over, you using the product. So just make sure that that product is a part of that story arc and is apparent and forward throughout the story itself. And of course, if you want to, we want to make sure that we're following FTC guidelines to inform your audience that this is in fact a sponsored unit, or you're in fact watching an ad. We have different ways of doing this. We found that most recently the best way to do it, and sort of the easiest as to not clutter the idea pin, is to use the classic hashtag ad, which is an FTC guideline across other platforms as well. So just be mindful of that is part of these partnerships as well, as we really just want to make sure that your pinners know that it is indeed sponsored. So with that being said, I know that was a lot of information. We want to take a closer look at a few of these key principles for you. So if we go to the next slide, we want to talk about keep it authentic. Again, we suggest working with brands that you love and use regardless of whether you're getting paid. So we have a perfect example here from one of our creators, Jane, of Fashion Curious. So the first pin on the left here is her nighttime skin routine that she made as an organic idea pin. She uses these products, and you can certainly tell by the way that she speaks to each of them that she's a genuine user and a lover of these products without sponsorship. So she just took it upon herself to show her pinners what her nighttime routine is and included the brands that she actually uses. So when CeraVe, the brand, came to us looking to do a creator program, they asked to work with creators who were existing fans who were already using the product. Jane was an obvious choice for this. So on the right, you can see the content that she created in partnership with Sarah V. And you can see that the content looks very similar. It was also that much more that much stronger and authentic because Jane was already using and loving the brand. So it was really natural for her to tell that story because it was something she already knew how to speak to. She already knew why she loved it. She had experience with the brand. So it just makes for really nice, authentic content that really is clearly a sponsorship, but feels very true to the creator. So the net of this is be yourself and the right partnership will certainly follow. And if we go to the next slide, please. Yes. Okay. So providing key details. Idea pins really help users go from inspiration to action as you guys have been learning. So whether it's a recipe, outfit, travel guide, helpful tip, pinners love that they can find all of the elements of the idea right within the pin itself without having to leave the app. And the idea pins, this format leaves so much room for sharing important details with your audience. So there's something called the details drawer, which many of you may be familiar with, and it allows you to add recipe ingredients, measurements, instructions. There are additional templates even for the different kinds of projects that you're working on that allow you to add specific placements for supplies, process steps, etc. This is a really great place, obviously, to include any product details. So what shade of makeup did you use? What flavor of seasoning did you use? How much? What was your process? It's a really, really valuable detailed drawer for your pinners. And the special thing about idea pins as well is that viewers can take action now or in the future. So unlike other stories on different platforms, idea pins are evergreen. They last. So a pinner can save it. And so for example, maybe a pinner's looking to do a date night makeup look. They're looking for inspiration on a Tuesday. They fall in love with a natural glam that they see an idea pin on a Tuesday. They save it. They can go back later on that Friday, open up that details drawer, watch that idea pin, and hit the town with a full glam on, which is exciting. So just make sure that we provide the key details and specifically the product details as well. And if we go to the next slide. The last thing we want to kind of double tap into here is make it visually immersive, right? So making branded content immersive is really key to keeping your audience engaged and watching that idea pin. And you can do this through so many different tools. Really leaning into video is one of them, leveraging text, stickers, which we're super excited about and we're updating constantly. Music, obviously audible, but also adds to the engagement. And then we have new features like app mentions and product tagging, which will be super exciting for you all to use as well. So you can see in this example, I think this is actually an example of an idea pin from our friend Tracy, and she's tagged here the specific goat cheese that she used and also Eggland Best Eggs. And this is really helpful because it allows the pinners to identify exactly what they need, brand specific, and just again adds to that actionability and engagement of the pin. You get to really engage with each page. We also want you to not be afraid to talk to your audience, right? Give people a chance to know the creator behind the idea by narrating your idea through VO or copy, whatever feels most comfortable. Really show your face, right? Use that idea pin content to drive interactions with your audience because the more your audience engages with your content, the more it will be seen by others looking for ideas like yours. And that's good for you. And that is certainly good for the brand. So with that in mind, I'm now going to pass you back over to Tracy, who's going to take you through or talk you through really some of the processes and programs we've set in place to help you connect with brands on Pinterest.
Yes, thank you so much. So I've changed locations for hopefully a better connection. So if you lose me, just throw it into the chat and the others on the line will help us out here. But yes, going into the how to making sure that you get noticed by brands and really increase your chances for getting matched to a branded opportunity. You want to go to the next page. We'll talk a little bit about the structure that is Pinterest. We have hundreds of salespeople that are constantly pitching to brands, and we have over 90,000 existing brand partners today. So there's a lot of opportunity for creators to get involved with those brands. In the short time that we've been working on creator brand partnerships, it's just been the last couple of months, we've actually closed 16 brand and creator partnerships deals, and we've seen really great success, but also a ton of interest from brands. Brands are knocking on our door and saying, what can we do to work with creators? How can we get matched with creators? So we know there's appetite on your side and there's appetite on the brand side. It's just a matter of matching everybody up to the right project together. So just know that that's something that we're always iterating on, learning on, and hoping to do more of in the future. On this next page, I'm going to talk through how we actually go through connecting brands to creators and what that process looks like internally at Pinterest. So you all are really getting sort of the inside secrets since you're a part of this community. So thank you for being a part of this community. But I'll talk you through this process now. So essentially, when a deal closes after a salesperson has worked with the brand team, we'll use in this example Nordstrom Clean Beauty. This is a real example, and we'll show you the results at the end. But so the Nordstrom team here at Pinterest works with the Nordstrom marketing team. They close a creator program, and then what happens is they come to myself and Carly, who then execute these deals. And for any of you that have been involved in brand partnerships with us before, you see us, pitching you and asking questions and things like that. But at this stage, we really go into talking to the brand. So we say, what kind of creator are you looking for? And there's a lot of questions that go into that. So it's things like, does this creator need to be from a specific place? Some brands only have storefronts in certain parts of the country. So maybe they're only looking for someone that's in Texas. Does this creator need to be an expert in the space? So maybe it's a paint brand, but they want to work with someone who's like a classically trained interior designer, or maybe they want to seem more approachable and reach the real person. So they want to work with someone who isn't trained, but could be a DIY creator. So we ask a ton of these questions. How many followers do they need to have? Was there a threshold for that? What is their tone or their style? So we can get an idea of the kinds of people to pitch back. And then once we have all that information, we take that in and we start to source. So I myself work with the creator manager leads, the people who lead this community team, and I think through all of that criteria, and I then go looking for the right creators. And we bring back a handful of creators, more than we need, so that the brand can then look at them and say, okay, we really like this person. This person doesn't really fit our persona, or this person isn't a mom and we really want to work with a mom. So could we swap them out for someone else? And once the brand and Pinterest really get aligned, we have the brand rank all of the people that are left. So let's say there's 5 people. So they'll stack rank those people, and we at Pinterest will go out to the first person with the project, and we'll say, dear creator, we'd love to talk to you about this project. Here's what it would include. Here's the timeline and all of those things. And the creator either says, yes, I'd love to be a part of it, or no. And if they say no, we move on to the next person. And if they say yes, we go into the next step. So that would be actually having the creator come up with a couple of ideas. We really, in our brand partnerships so far, have found a lot of success in giving creators as much creative freedom as possible. Just being able to have them come to us with ideas. What feels natural to you? What would you want to make if you could make anything with this brand? So we have creators bring forward 1 to 2 ideas. We share those back with the brand. The brand picks and improves the concept, and then we let the creator go do their thing. So they start creating. They go into production, whether that means, a more traditional shoot or something that's like in their home kitchen. We let that be, totally up to them. And the brand is expecting whatever the content is based on the examples that were provided from their Pinterest page. So it's important to think about, what does my content look like? What is my tone when I'm not doing branded content? Because that's what brands will look at and compare against when they're selecting creators. So after all of that content is created, we then share it back with the brands for review, and they give notes. So they'll say things like, can we add in some more text at this area? Or could we change the color of that background so it's our brand colors? Ideally, it's minimal edits. Sometimes there are things that need to be reshot, but hopefully that's not the case. The creator then goes back and we do that one more time where the creator makes the changes, the brand reviews, and then finally the brand provides approval and we press launch. And after that, we have the result on the next page. You can see this was what our creator, Sandy Lynn, who is a beauty creator. She was selected by Nordstrom Beauty. She created 3 idea pins. Here you see the flushed makeup and bushy brows, everyday natural makeup, and the simple morning skincare routine. So they selected Sandy because they were really looking for someone who wore makeup that wasn't, necessarily like, she's not 100% clean beauty, but she does dabble in that space. She appeals to Gen Z, and she had a great presence on Pinterest. She already had a good following. She had a lot of idea pins published, and she was an active creator. So for all of those reasons, they chose her. Sandy made this beautiful content and it turned out amazing. So everybody wins. And then we have even more beautiful content to share as examples when we're pitching more brands. So that is sort of the process into how it all works. And if you want to go to the next page, I can talk a little bit about how to really set yourself up for success, get noticed by brands, and just be successful in this branded content space. But first things first, we know that just by being a part of this community, you're already one step closer to setting yourself up for branded content success. Just by attending these workshops and being on our radar, it really helps us see your content, understand the kinds of things that you want to make and the partnerships you want to do, gets us one step closer to connecting you with the brand. So of course, the brand's always the one that makes the decision, but at least we know and have you on our radar so we can be pitching you for the right projects. But these 4 things really are the key to success. So the first one is creating content with a point of view. So brands really want to see examples of your vibe, your tone, and aesthetic. So we recommend having at least 3 current idea pins published at any given time to your Pinterest. So that really means that, then a brand could go look at your page and see what you're all about, see the way that you communicate with your audience, the style in which you create, all of those good things. And then you also want to be publishing other pins as well. So curating boards, publishing static pins, video pins, things like that. Just really having an active presence on Pinterest that when a brand comes to your page, they're like, okay, we know this person is a Pinterest creator and we're excited to build more content with them on this surface. The next one is building your following. So every brand has totally different ideas of what they want for following. Some brands want to work with several nano creators and have more engaged and smaller audiences, but have a ton of creators working on, one piece of content each. Other brands want to do more of like an ambassadorship with a creator who has a bigger following, and then maybe they'll have that creator make multiple pieces of content. So all is to say is you should always be working on growing your following. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. So one, publishing idea pins, as we keep saying, it is a really great way to get seen. As you know, idea pins get good distribution, so it just exposes you to new eyeballs and potentially new followers. But also we recommend, creating idea pins around trending topics because we know that people are looking for those. And then if they find you that way, they might follow you. And finally, sharing your Pinterest on other platforms. So we know that you are all publishing everywhere. It's great to give a nod to, hey, I'm over here too. Anything you can do to be making exclusive content for Pinterest. I worked with a food creator and he was making exclusive recipes on his Pinterest to help grow his following. So he would say on his Instagram stories, hey, I published a Easter recipe just to Pinterest, head over there to check it out, give me a follow. And he grew his following from 0 people to 10,000 people over the course of a couple of months. So it is a strategy that works if you're willing to try. The next one here is engaging with your community. So brands do kind of like look at everything when they're qualifying a creator, and they love to see when you're responding to comments or even like asking your audience, what more do you want? What other kinds of content would you want to see from me? There's a fashion creator who does this really well, and she'll say things like, I'm getting ready to plan my content for the next coming weeks. Is there anything that you all would love to see? And people write in the comments, I love your thrift store finds, or I love styling crazy pieces. And she uses that into her programming strategy. So anything you can do to really be engaging with your community and showing that you are cultivating this, brands take notice to that too. And then last but not least is incorporating brands into your content. Carly gave a great example of Jane from Fashion Curious, where she was already using this brand that she loved. A brand could run into you and you could be using their product. You could have done a Target haul and Target could see you and be like, hey, that was really great. We'd love to actually work with this creator. So we see no harm in incorporating brands into your content in editorial and just kind of using that to your advantage. Of course, if you ever do work in a brand partnership, you won't want to put other brands in it. But in your editorial, definitely testing and learning for how brands might fit into your everyday content. So those are some best practice tips. If you move to the next page, we are nearing the end of this talk and we'll start to move into Q&A, but some things that we want to leave you with are always be pinning. So as we said, the more that you publish, the more that you'll get seen and you'll gain followers from that. So just continuing to have a good programming strategy and be pinning often through idea pins, static pins, video pins, all of it. And then creating content that's authentic to you. So really just be yourself, and brands will find you, and they'll really appreciate working with you so much more if you're, your authentic self and you're telling their story in an authentic way. And then also, of course, using the tools that you have available to make your content as visually immersive and engaging as possible. So all those new features we talked about, some that we're really excited about is product tagging and app mentions, but everything else that you have in the editor to actually use to make your content that much more engaging. And on our last slide here, we do have one takeaway. If you are interested in potentially being matched for a brand partnership, you can follow this link and fill out any brands that you would love to work with, any brands you would never work with. We also have some questions for you about how you might want to be matched with brands. So of course, no guarantees here, as we're still growing this effort and we don't know what brands will pick which creators, but we would always love to know for any hand raisers, people that are interested in ready to work with brands. We're happy to include you in our list of creators to look through. So that is it from a content perspective. If you go to the next slide, we can probably move into Q&A, which I know there were some in the chat. So we could start there if you'd like.
I can chime in. I know Nori had posed a question, but we did get some feedback in chat, but just opening it up for the pros on the call. Curious on how brands are responding to idea pins since they don't directly link out.
Yeah, that's a great question. So those product tagging features that we shared, actually those do link out. So you will start to see different ways in which creators and brands are strategically using those to their advantage. But I will say brands have been loving idea pins. And I think the main reason is you have to really decide what kind of campaign you want to use them for. And what many brands have been using them for is brand awareness, which is really just like mass reach and showing off like, hey, this is our product. Get you introduced to it, get you excited about it, not as much like actually click to buy. So far what we've seen is that these get great viewership and good engagement, and brands are happy with the performance. But it is a good question. Yeah, of course. Also, hi Nori. Thanks for the question.
There's one more in here if you want me to go for it. Okay.
Go for it.
How do brands reach out to Pinterest? I know a company who may want to get matched with creators.
Yeah, so we have a sales that's massive. And Ellen, you probably have a better insight into this than me, but our sales team is mapped to a bunch of different brands, and I'm sure that there's someone who would be some new business and we could connect them. Does that sound right?
It does, yes. I believe we even have a link, and I will try to find that right now, that we can match someone on sales. Yep.
Cool.
I'll drop it.
Hi, Tracy and Ellen. I have a question that I think we've heard from folks before, and maybe some of the creators on the line might have a similar question, but might be a little nervous to speak up. So I have a question that we've heard before that I'd love to ask the group too, which is, how do I, as a creator, how would I go about striking my own partnership outside of Pinterest matchmaking? So like, how would I best set myself up as a creator to reach out, like to figure out who I want to work with, reach out to brands, and then get a partnership to work with them on Pinterest? Do you have any?
Yeah, definitely. So I know we kind of talked about this early on in the presentation about how you definitely can be doing this. My recommendation is to, for sure, set your Pinterest up for success first. So publish at least 3 idea pins, and then also just have a good point of view of the brands and products that you like. So think about what you use in your everyday. Like, do you love your KitchenAid? KitchenAid could be a great partner for you. Are you always using, X brand of whatever? Reach out to them. And I know we actually have some creators on the line who have done this on their own. So if anybody does want to speak up and provide any insight to the group on how they've done deals outside of getting matched through Pinterest, we'd be happy to hear from you. But if
I
not,
have a
that's my
question.
recommendation.
Yeah, go I don't know if I'm interrupting, but I have a question. This is Beth from New York, from Forever Friends.
Hi.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Guys?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
I really love this meeting, and I love all the meetings that I attend to, and this group is amazing. As a wedding invitation designer, how would I get matched up, or what can I do to be more helpful to this group or to my content for my Pinterest ideas, pins?
Yeah. So I think, are you asking like how might you get matched to brands, or how might you help other creators?
Both, like, and even people that are linking and following me and all of that. So yes, both, please.
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, I would definitely look at like, what are the brands and products that you're using as you're designing? Like, I don't know, maybe you hand draw things. So maybe Sharpie would be a great brand for you to reach out to if you absolutely love their products. So I think like looking through your everyday and seeing what's an authentic brand that you could work with is a good beginning. And then finding the right people to reach out to, like whether it's on LinkedIn or, through a DM of some sort. I've seen creators do that and have success that way. But of course, just by being in this community, we can always keep you in mind if the right opportunity comes in, how we might connect you. In terms of helping other creators, I think just being a part of this community is a really great first step, where you all are able to bounce ideas off of each other, talk about how you've worked with brands in the past and things like that. So I think just being like an active member of this community is a really awesome resource.
Oh, no, awesome. And you also gave me an idea. I only work with Carlson Craft, but I'm one of their top producers. So I have my own private group with them. So maybe I can reach out with them, and maybe we could do something together with them. I don't know if that's allowed, but maybe I could do something like that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're running your own business. You're welcome to reach out to whoever you want, and definitely plug your Pinterest if it's a place where you're creating lots of content. We would be excited to see what you came up with.
Okay, thank you guys so much. You guys are all amazing. Thank you.
Awesome.
We have some more questions from the chat. I'm not sure, did we cover Teresa's question? Are there certain times of the year when brands want to partner with food creators?
Also, hello, Teresa. Good to see you in this group. Food is very evergreen. So I think that brands are always, there's always marketing strategies going on for different food products. I do think that holiday is a great time. Many food brands spend a lot of their marketing dollars in fourth quarter. So that is a good time. Summer, really any holiday or seasonal moment on Pinterest is a great time to be thinking about partnerships. I'd also throw to Ellen or Carly if they have any thoughts on that in terms of like when specific verticals should be thinking about partnering with brands.
I think it might be helpful for us after this to even share a moments calendar that we have that shows life cycles of how brands are tapping into certain moments on the platform specifically, which in turn means money is being brought to the platform. To Tracy's point, food, for instance, is evergreen. A lot of our categories are evergreen, but in life in general with advertising spends, Q4, meaning October, November, December, is typically the most money spent in a very condensed amount of time. So rest assured that there are probably more campaigns and more money happening in that time frame.
Yep, I +1 to all of that. We also have a really cool trends tool that is available to the public and you all. And I know that I think this community gets some trend reports on a monthly basis, but we have a trends tool where you can go on and type in, if you're a food creator and you're specifically focused on baking, you can type in baking and see what sorts of things are spiking in the baking world on Pinterest. So just see like what pinners are actively searching for, and rest assured that whatever the pinner is looking for, the brand is interested in kind of tagging along there. So we can also send around a link. Oh, Ellen already did it. Thank you, Ellen. But that's another really helpful tool as well. But as Tracy mentioned, food is always hot on the platform. So there's never a wrong time to be talking about food.
Cool.
Thanks
we
so
have
much,
another
guys.
question. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. We have another question from Deborah. I mainly post quotes on my Pinterest. How would someone like me get a brand partnership?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what your content looks like. And, maybe there could be something really cool. Like I know we talked about the brand Sharpie, but maybe there could be something cool where they could work with you to write out these quotes in a cool way. Or if the quotes were about like inspiration for growing your business, maybe there could be like a cool opportunity for you to work with Squarespace, where they're trying to work with up and coming entrepreneurs. I think it could take a little bit of creative strategy behind thinking about how you might want to partner, but I think that it's definitely possible for you still to find ways to work with brands.
Thanks. I think there's another question about just catching attention from brands or even from our own team. So if Maria asks, what's the number of idea pins that we should create per week?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we recommend at minimum 1 per week, but no more than 1 per day. So we have seen, and I don't think this would happen to any of you creators, but we have seen like publisher brands, big publishers publishing so many idea pins that they're following get some fatigue. But I think if you're staying within that 1 a day to at least 1 a week, you'd be in really great shape just to having that always on cadence. To keep your programming up and current.
Wonderful. And from Isabel, she's asking, what is the one thing that makes a creator stand out to brands that we would love for the creators to give more attention to?
Yeah, that's such a great and challenging question because no brand partnership is the same. So one, like for example, a paint brand would really maybe want to have someone that has this beautiful, colorful, like so colorful aesthetic, but I wouldn't necessarily tell like a minimalist, like skin creator to then get really colorful, So I think it really depends on the kind of partnerships that you want to strike. I really think like having a point of view and being true to who you are, just being like a unique creator is the best value prop that you can really lean into because there's only one of you. So there's no competition against yourself. If a brand likes you and your content, then they'll want to work with you. But yeah, outside of that, it's challenging to answer that just given the nuances of every single project.
Yeah, I would add to that, like to stick with your personal brand and aesthetic, but making sure that it's just to you, like it's the most engaging like pin if you're trying to show how to do a how-to, or if you're showing how to decorate something that is just very like clear of what you're trying to convey, and but also relates to the brand that you are trying to build on your Pinterest profile.
Totally.
We have another question. Is there an open client list for us creators to see what brands Pinterest are partnering with to help navigate pitching?
Yes, that's from Yamaya. Hello. And I just want to give a quick plug to the content that in partnership that Yamaya just did with YSL. Give that idea pin some love. She did a great job on that partnership. To answer that question right now, there isn't an open client list for creators to source from. I know that some other platforms have that, and there could be something like that, down the road. But for right now, we are a small shop. It's Carly and myself, and we're just trying to find the best brands to match creators with. And if you ever have any ideas, or if you're ever thinking like, I'm planning this really cool holiday content with these 5 other creators and we really want to pitch to this brand, we're happy to, take a look at that and think about how it might work. But for right now, it's a little bit more manual than that.
Yeah. And I will also
Carly,
I'm just going to jump in and say that we don't have a list, but one of the best ways that you can kind of do a little sleuthing on your own is if you do have a brand in mind that you just love the brand, like keep using the Sharpie example. You just love using Sharpies when you're doing your quotes by hand. You can just you can go on to Pinterest and see if Sharpie has a profile. And usually if they have a profile, there may be like a Pinterest sales team that's mapped to it. So the best thing to do is if you really love a brand and you are curious if they are on Pinterest or open to partnerships, make sure they have a profile, because if they have a profile, you have a greater chance. And then certainly use Tracy or myself as an insider as well, and we can kind of figure out if there might be any opportunities there.
We're reaching close to the hour, so if you have any last minute questions, definitely put them in the chat. To answer Ethan's question, we will do a recap later on, where you can catch this presentation. One more question from the Planning Pretty Shop. What is the best strategy to connect with decor brands? I've had a Pinterest profile for years and have ton examples of past projects. Should I clean that up and curate my existing pins or continue with new? I think there's a multi-level question, but I'm gonna let our guests answer first.
As far as cleaning up your Pinterest, if you went through any kind of rebrand or anything like that, you can do that. But I would definitely look at your analytics and see which pins are performing for you. And if it's some of the older pins and they happen to be some of, your top performing pins, I wouldn't get rid of those, because like all pieces of content on Pinterest, they continue to grow in performance and viewership over time. So I think definitely keeping those up is totally fine, unless you're absolutely like, this doesn't fit my brand anymore, I have to get rid of it. That would be okay too. But no harm in kind of hanging on to them. And then Karina, I know you said that you had an answer as well.
Yeah, I would say, we've been really encouraging everyone in the community to really use Idea Pin. And it's great that you have been creating on the platform for so long, and you've built this awesome profile, but also making that new content with the Idea Pins, because for some of our campaigns, we do look at that new content and how you're transitioning content. And the great thing is that, yes, content on Pinterest is evergreen. So when we go and look at your profile, we can see like everything that you've created. We can get a full picture of your brand and your aesthetic, but also that you're also evolving on the platform is super important as well. That's all I had to add.
Cool, thank you. Any other last questions?
Let's see, am I missing any questions? I think we've covered everything. Congratulations to Nori. She got a speaking opportunity. Someone reached out to her for a speaking opportunity in a virtual conference.
I love that.
So congratulations.
No, you're gonna kill it. That's amazing. Cool.
Well, I guess we can do some closing remarks. Once again, thank you, Tracy, Ellen, and Carly, for this awesome workshop. And thank you to everyone from the community who's tuned in today. We appreciate your questions. We hope that you learned a lot and excited to create more on the platform, and you're inspired to reach out for those brand partnerships. All as you navigate the creator community, we said, please take advantage of this space. You can share ideas. You can share comments and questions in our hub. Like I said, we will also share this workshop later on with a recap. And don't forget to sign up for future creator meetups. I think we'll share a link within the chat, but we'll also share in the hub as well. And ladies, do you have any final remarks before we say goodbye to everyone?
No, I just want to say thanks for listening to us for an hour.
Yep. All right, everyone, have a great weekend, and we'll see you at the next meetup.
Bye all.